Alright, let's see what Papa Asmon has to say.
The Department of Justice. The Trump administration is continuing its unprecedented support for the Epstein transparency after the Biden administration declined to make any files public. This is obviously a misrepresentation. Trump has gone out and pretended like he didn't know what they're talking about, and he tried to make the appeal to triviality with Epstein multiple times, and it's just so obvious what happened, right? And also, you broke the law by not releasing everything. And they know that. They should get impeached. There should be a level of accountability. At the end of the day, you've got to have heads roll if things aren't going the way that they should be going.
Damn right.
They were forced to release them by law. Yes, they were forced to release them by law, and even then, they did not fully comply with the law. There were two main points of contention that they did not follow with, right? So, number one, every redaction had to be explained. And number two, all of the files had to be released. The redactions were not explained, and all of the files were not released. Keep that in mind. Anyway, so the first administration was prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein for heinous crimes at the time of his death. The Obama administration declined to investigate Epstein. I mean, I don't know really why. Who knows? Well, actually, wait a second. Wasn't Epstein's trial in 2007? Obama didn't take office until 2009. What the fuck does Obama have to do with this? Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway.
Thing is I think he was arrested back in like 2002, 2003 for all this stuff. And he was pretty much like dead to rights on trial. And some government spook came in and said, nah, this guy's intelligence. You can't persecute him. And this is the same instance in which Donald Trump himself came out and testified against the things that he did.
He had two trials. I don't know if he had one then or not. Was it 2008? Well, Obama wasn't in office in 2008 either. He got the deal in 2008? Yeah, Obama won the election in 2008, but he took office in 2009. Like, the president wins, they win the election in 2000, and usually they, like, you know, in like every 4 years, right? But then they actually take office later on. It's the same as like Zoran Mandami he's not the mayor of New York right now. He will be the mayor of New York on January 1st. And the president takes office on the 20th of January, right? That's how, for example, like during January 6th, right? That's very evident because Trump was the president during January 6th. So, yeah, it's not acting yet. Yeah, he's president-elect, but he's not the president. So I think this is totally fucking bullshit that they're even bringing this up. But anyway, maybe there's something I don't know about. Either way, it seems like bullshit. Why is this material being released now? Prior to President Trump's enactment of the Epstein Transparency Act, various judges had declined the Trump Department of Justice request to unseal the Epstein-related material. The enactment of the new law gave the judges the legal predicate that they found sufficient for granting the Trump administration standing requests before the courts to unseal the files. How much more material can we be expected to release? Because this is the big question, right? Because I think Ro Khanna said that it was like 2.5 gigabytes were released, but there were over 300 gigabytes. So, I mean, I think that's a pretty big fucking difference, or 200, something like that. So, yeah. The difference in 2008 and 2025 is like the planet decided to jump off a cliff and protest. Yeah, it's a big difference. And I mean, I think the world always changes, though, to be fair. So how much more material can we expect to be released? The Department of Justice has hundreds of thousands of pages of material to release, including material that must comply with court orders. The court orders can slow down the Department of Justice's ability to review and redact material, but it will not prevent the release of the material. The Department of Justice has had more than 200 lawyers working around the clock reviewing each individual file for release. This is an arduous process, as each document and photograph must be individually reviewed by the DOJ and the Southern District of New York in order for potential redactions and to protect victims and potential veterans, protect victims or potential victims. So I think this is stupid. I think if you gave me 200 guys, you could have gone through pretty much all of this in 1 month. So are you telling me that you have 200 people that are on this and this is all you could produce after an entire month? Get the fuck out of here. I bet 10 people could have done more than this. This is crazy. They're lazy.
The unpaid internet is going to do better than the government did.
So, yeah, after fucking a month, they've created 2 gigabytes of information. That's crazy. Should have kept Doge around? Yeah, exactly. AI can do it better. Anybody could do it better. Somebody who gave a shit could do it better. So, anyway, what is being redacted? The Department of Justice is committed to...
That's what I'm saying. Just dump everything. Let fucking Reddit or 4chan or fucking wherever all these crazies on the internet are that sort everything out are, and just let them do it. They'll have it done in like 2 days.
Transparency and redacting only what is legally required. The department is required by law to redact identifying information about the victims, minors, or potential victims, as well as privileged material. This is a legal term. I'm not familiar with what it means. No redactions have been or will be made to protect famous individuals or politically exposed persons. Okay, that's at least good to see. Why have some photos been released and then removed? Good question. As material is released, the Department of Justice is receiving incoming from individuals alleging to be victims and their lawyers requesting that certain information be removed. Out of an abundance of caution, the material is temporarily removed for review and will be released again with appropriate redactions if legally required. So let me get this straight. So you guys had 200 people working on this, but not only could you not do all the information, but the information that you did do, you did it wrong. Okay, this is really good to hear. This is amazing. So lawyers will block shit. They love that. Maybe. Sounds like horse shit to me. Well, anyway, how are people responding? Check that guy's hard drive. I highlighted the law for you. No later than 30 days after the date of the enactment of the law, and then all. Yes, obviously, very fucking true.
You can't count on the government for shit. They're not gonna out themselves. They're not gonna tell the truth under any circumstances. There's only one way to get to the bottom of it. And everybody knows in the back of their mind what it is. It's gonna take a lot to make it happen.
On what basis was file 468 removed? I don't know. And so Thomas Massey did oh no. He did a poll on this. Give me a minute. Is Attorney General Pam Bondi being transparent and complying with the Epstein Files Transparency Act by releasing the appropriate and necessary information? Well, I mean, my opinion is it's no.
Bondi's been weird.
Wow. Thomas Massey just announced he's opening up an impeachment investigation into Pam Bondi. Okay, let me pull this up right now. I didn't even know about this.
What are you going to do about it to force them to comply? I mean, can you do anything?
Oh, absolutely. Look, people have talked about, and by the way, Todd Blanche is the face of this, but it's really the Attorney General's office, Pam Bondi, who is responsible. And there are several ways to get at this. Some take longer, some are shorter. The quickest way, and I think most expeditious way to get justice for these victims is to bring inherent contempt against Pam Bondi. And that doesn't require going through the courts. And give her, and basically Rokan and I are talking about and drafting that right now.
What are you going to do about it to force them to comply?
Jesus. So now they're going in on it. You can't legally force people to comply with an order that endangers potential victims. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but they claim to be protecting victims with their lawyers. Yeah, they're lying. I mean, they're lying. Everybody knows they're lying. Like, what are we talking about? Like, it's obvious they're lying. Like, and here's how you know that they're lying. Because there are previous frames of reference and instances that they were proven to be lying in. Like, for example, them saying, oh, we're out of files. We don't have any more files. Well, if you don't have any more files, what did you just release? Well, it looks like you had more files. You lied. So there you go. Her having it on her desk. Yeah, exactly. They're framing MJ even after his death. They don't even care about us. Exactly. Yeah. And this is the other thing too, is that they don't even explain why this happened. Like this is again, like as I said before, like I've always really liked Michael Jackson. I think this is fucking ridiculous. It is absolutely fucking ridiculous that they went and they took the photo of Michael Jackson with his kids right there. And then they blurred it out. They blocked the whole thing out and they never explained.
Yeah, the whole thing is like so fucked up with Michael. The man had such a screwed up childhood, and the way he got on about his trauma was to just relentlessly heal his inner child. He built a theme park in his front yard, for God's sake. I never once believed the man hurt any fucking kids. And for them to use his own kids in this way is the most diabolical thing that I've ever witnessed.
Why? They never said why. I'm sorry, but posting this photo with Michael Jackson and Bill Clinton is going to make people believe that Michael Jackson is a fucking weirdo. And you should not be posting that without any context at all. You shouldn't be doing that. It's crazy. It's a Getty image. It's bad faith. It's massively bad faith. It's crazy, crazy, crazy bad faith. And anyway, let me see if I can finish the rest of these too, because I think this is the way it is. I remember there's GOP rep last year who tried doing the same to Attorney General Garland and nothing ever happened. It's all theater. Exactly. That's the problem. And she's right, but she shouldn't be.
It's that simple.
Why do you think he is working so hard not to get them released for so many months? What do you think the real reason is?
These files implicate billionaires and friends of him, of his, and political donors that he's trying to protect. And Epstein also had close ties to our own intelligence agencies and Israel's intelligence agencies. That's why.
Oh boy.
Based.
There's so much effort in trying to stop this, and I do believe they'll try to stop it somewhere else. And that's going to backfire on them too. And Epstein also had close ties to our own intelligence agencies and Israel's intelligence agencies.
Yep.
That's why there's so much effort in trying to stop this. And
wow. And do better watch his back. I mean, it's already out there, right? Anything happens to him, I feel like it's just going to radicalize people 1,000 times more. Yeah, I mean, that's really what I think. Oh, this is it. Let me watch this. Okay, here we go.
The best companion for your fantasy team is Fantasy View. Track.
Plus, a bipartisan conversation with the two members of Congress who pushed to pass the law calling for the Epstein files to be made public. Has the Trump administration obeyed that law? We'll talk with Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie and California Democrat Ro Khanna. Good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. So far, there have been few surprises in the tens of thousands of documents related to the case against.
I think that it was kind of surprising how deranged it was. I do. Like, it wasn't like anything super crazy, but it was pretty bad.
Convicted sex offender and accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and his partner, convicted child sex offender Ghislaine Maxwell. The Justice Department says that 1,200 names identified as victims or their relatives were redacted, along with materials that could result in their identification.
Nobody is mad about that. Nobody is mad about the every single word on the entire page. Like, come on.
Will the release of the documents satisfy Congress and the political forces who lobbied for their disclosure? And much more importantly, will it satisfy the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and their families? The two House members who pushed their colleagues into passing the bill to release these documents, Republican Thomas Massie, who's in Garrison, Kentucky, and Democrat Ro Khanna, who joins us this morning from Palo Alto, California. It's good to have both of you here. I want to start with you, Congressman Massie, because in these past 48 hours, we have seen the Justice Department acknowledge it's an incomplete release, but they have put out more than 13,000 files. They say more will come. This isn't everything you asked for just yet, but would you acknowledge that they are complying with the spirit, if not the intent of your law?
No. No.
No, they're flouting the spirit and the letter of the law. It's very troubling, the posture that they've taken. And I won't be satisfied until the survivors are satisfied. You know, I said in the hours leading up to this release that we will know if they are complying if they implicate any of the other criminals that are involved and the suspects that are involved, that the witnesses, the victims themselves have given to the FBI, and they've never been mentioned.
Well, there are some disclosures in here that seem new. Congressman Khanna, the documents confirm that the FBI received a complaint about Jeffrey Epstein back in 1996, but the woman whose name is Maria Farmer, who made that complaint, said federal officials failed to follow up. She said the disclosure makes her feel redeemed.
I don't think that's like federal officials don't follow up with a lot of these things. Like that's just it's realistically, it's just sometimes doesn't happen. So yeah.
And that this was one of the best days of her life to see these documents made public.
Like I'm just being realistic, right? I'm being realistic that, and also you could say that that's a problem in itself. I'd agree with you, but like I don't think that in itself is enough to say that for sure it was a conspiracy, right? Just because I've seen how these things have happened myself.
What action do you want taken around a case like this?
That was the single most important disclosure of what we got. I know Maria's sister. She sounded the alarm in 1996. She complained to the FBI. The problem is that Epstein was so connected with law enforcement and powerful politicians, the FBI did nothing for a decade. Frankly, she deserves compensation. She deserves an explanation. But the broader point is, Blanche was on this morning saying that Nancy and I have a problem that it's taking too long. That's not the problem. The problem is this was a slap in the face of survivors. What do they want? They want to know who are the rich and powerful men who visited Epstein's rape island and covered up the abuse.
It's so fucking simple, isn't it? It's so obvious what everybody wants. It's not like this is some, oh, what do they want? Nobody knows. Everybody knows. It's in plain English. It's fucking obvious.
And the key documents that our law basically said needed to be released, the 60-count indictment that actually implicates a lot of these people.
Keep in mind, this is what he said yesterday, is that 2 of the people that were implicated were named, 58 were not.
And the prosecution memo were not released. It's not about the timeline.
And it's not about, like, you know, it's like you could say, like, oh, 55 were released, 5 weren't. Okay, you know what? But the vast majority were not released.
It's about the selective concealment.
Well, yet, right? The Deputy Attorney General said there are more disclosures that will be made. You believe that they will not release that particular part? I mean, you did give them some leeway for redactions.
You did.
Well, first of all, the redactions were excessive, and even Harvard law professors who have looked at that have said you can't redact internal communications, you can't redact workforce product, and the courts are going to find that these were excessive. But my point, and I'm sure Congressman Massey can elaborate, is that we want the files out. So if our sounding the alarm on what is missing is going to help them get those files out, fine. But this shouldn't be a big document.
And in my opinion, it should be a giant document dump. They should release every last granule, every shred of information that pertains to any of this. Anybody who is like just loosely connected, the context, like any money that moved between them and he, and just every little last detail related to the whole shebang. And it should just be up to the world to sift through it and decide what happens next. Because this thing goes so much deeper than anybody actually realizes.
There's a pretty simple point. Who raped these young girls? Who covered it up? And why are they getting away with it?
Isn't it crazy that we live in like an alternate universe where this very simple and very obvious reality is being hidden, obfuscated, and trying to, oh, where'd it go? Where are they? Oh, what is this? It's so fucking ridiculous, isn't it? Oh my God, drives me crazy.
So you're saying specific things regarding the indictment. Congressman Massey, I saw in a video that you posted, you had a very specific benchmark of success here. You said there are at least 20 men accused of sex crimes known to the FBI. How do you know that number? And do you know those names?
Yeah, the survivors' lawyers have told me those numbers, and they've described their professions in general. But they've only given me one of those names, and I mentioned that in a congressional hearing, Jess Staley. So I searched these documents. I didn't see Jess Staley's name, nor did I see 19 other names.
Do you think he's lying? I don't think he's lying. So he literally just named somebody. He said, this is one of the people that should be in it, and they're not in it, so they're lying. There you go.
And here's why we shouldn't be optimistic that Blanche or Bondi are going to release these things. They sent a 6-page memo to Congress and said they cited pre-existing laws as reasons that they weren't going to follow our law. For instance, our law requires them to release information regardless of embarrassment, but they are trying to say that a previous law prevails when it doesn't. Common sense says it doesn't. The Privacy Act doesn't protect them from that. And then also, as Rose said, internal communications, they're using a FOIA standard that doesn't apply because our law already says they have to give us internal communications.
In terms of the gentleman there you referenced as accused, I mean, being in the document doesn't necessarily prove criminal behavior, right?
Obviously. Everybody knows. Yeah, of course.
And in terms of the redactions, what the Deputy Attorney General said is that
pretty sure a congressional law outweighs that. Of course it does. Yeah, it's not like
we're abiding by your law, and also a judge in New York had ordered them to listen to victims. So they're claiming that information that they had initially even published Friday, they had to pull down because they were trying to protect victims. You don't sound convinced that they are abiding by this intent.
No, they are not abiding, and all 3 judges who released the grand jury material said that our law trumps the prior law. That's just common sense, Law School 101. Yet Todd Blanche is using a different theory that wouldn't survive first contact with any court, which is he's trying to say that prior laws override our law. That's not the way this works.
Okay, what are you going to do about it to force them to comply? I mean, can you do anything?
Impeach them.
Kick them out of office, man. Drag them out by their fucking hair. Put them in prison. Like, anybody who has been found to do anything wrong, like from covering it up to providing people for the abuse to anybody who turned a blind eye, like everybody involved should just get absolutely fucked.
Yeah, put them in fucking jail. What are we doing? I think that there is a growing frustration that a lot of people have, and this is a Democrat frustration. It's a Republican frustration. I'm going to be honest. It's a worldwide frustration. We see crash out protests in Indonesia. We're seeing them in Serbia. We're seeing them in Europe. We're seeing them in America. We're seeing them. You would be seeing them in Venezuela, but you can't. We're seeing them everywhere, right? All over the world where you can have any ability to protest. Brazil, Mexico, Nepal, Bulgaria. Yeah, everywhere. I think that the internet has given people. Because now I think that everybody basically in majority of countries has the access to the internet, right? They're able to see information and see the way the world is. I mean, to an extent, right? Not completely, but like to an extent. And in being able to do that, they realize that they're being run and ruled by a bunch of fucking scammers, clowns, pedophiles, rapists, and demons. That's what's happening. Absolutely. And they're saying, well, this sucks. This is fucking ridiculous. Why are we putting up with this shit? Right? They're taking bribes. They're taking money. They're living high on the hog. Well, they treat everybody else like actual hogs. That's it. And I think people are tired of it. They're totally tired. Do you think Trump should go to jail right now if something is unredacted and it proves he's a pedophile? So if something was proven, if Trump, so let's think about it theoretically, right? Trump is proven to be a pedophile by this. It's dead to rights, 100%. Should he go to jail? Absolutely. It's not even a question. Like, what do you mean? Like,
take
obviously,
him out back.
Yeah, duh. What do you want, a fucking pedo? And also, here's the other problem, is that if you don't send him to jail, you sacrifice the rest of his term to just being garbage. It would be better for Trump if he went to jail. It would be better for us, not for him. It'd be better for us if he went to jail, because then at least J.D. Vance could get rid of the fucking, the baggage of Trump. Like, that's it, because it really, like, there's so much baggage with this guy. Like, I think he's really funny. There's a lot of things that he does that I agree with, I think are great, but not everything. And it's like there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. I like the mass deportations. I like, X, Y, and Z thing. But the amount of, like, baggage and, like, just unnecessary bullshit that we have to deal with because of Trump is, like, I mean, for a lot of people, it's too much. They don't want to deal with somebody who's constantly going on Twitter talking about how he's, like how some guy that got murdered with his wife, he's bringing up the fact that, like, oh, he didn't like me, and so he had TDS, and, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what are you doing this for? Why are you doing this? So I think absolutely you should go to jail. And by the way, everybody thinks this. Like, the only people that don't think this are, like, 5 mentally ill people on Twitter, because they think that any accusation against Trump is just categorically illegal or categorically a lie. That's it. It's the baggage and personality. J.D. Vance is a perfect successor. There's zero dirt on the guy. Well, besides the sofa thing. But yes, you're right. And I think that's the main thing. Bro, Vance is a pedophile too? Yeah, everybody I don't like is a pedophile. Well, that's good. Now, at least you're not using Nazi anymore. And so my point is that basically, yeah, I think so. If theoretically, like, if it was proven that anybody in government was one of these weirdos, like a rapist, like, yeah, they should instantly go to jail. Absolutely. Like, imagine having another take. Imagine thinking, no, it's a good idea for us to have a pedophile president. Even if you agree with Trump, you shouldn't want that. Because if that's the case, you know that from now on, supporting or agreeing with him in any regard will be seen as supporting a pedophile. So nobody will ever support him. Nobody will actually do anything. He'll only be the president in name, and nothing that he wants to do will get done. So even if you don't agree with, like, you hate Democrats, you should still want to get rid of this guy, because in order, like, purifying your own, group of, I guess purifying your own group of people could sound racist, right? But I'm talking about ideology here, is that keeping that ideology pure and not having it be polluted by bad actors or by, criminals or something like that is necessary. It's fundamentally necessary. And if you don't do that, you're going to have a lot of problems.
Absolutely. Look, people have talked about, and by the way, Todd Blanche is the face of this, but it's really the Attorney General's office, Pam Bondi, who is responsible. And there are several ways to get at this. Some take longer, some are shorter. The quickest way, and I think most expeditious way to get justice for these victims is to bring inherent contempt against Pam Bondi. And that doesn't require going through the courts. And give her, and basically, Ro Khanna and I are talking about and drafting that right now.
Okay, well, I mean, on another network this morning, Democratic Senator Tim Kaine said impeachment or contempt, it is premature, Congressman Khanna. And the deputy...
It's premature? Shut up, retard. He's a bald, fat retard. I know who Tim Kaine is.
Attorney General said bring it on. They don't seem to be taking this very seriously. And if you just don't have the math in the Senate, including, at least now, this Democratic senator not being convinced, doesn't it sort of show that you're at the limit of pressure?
No, we only need the House for inherent contempt, and we're building a bipartisan coalition, and it would fine Pam Bondi for every day that she's not releasing these documents. I'll tell you why. I've talked to the survivors, why this is such a slap in the face. One of the survivors said they released her name accidentally, but...
Okay, he's not totally bald, and he's not that fat, but... I mean, if I looked like that, I'd think I was fat. And if I had this, look at this, guys. Look, see that right there? That's worse than me. So if he's not bald, neither am I.
They still have not released the FBI file about the people who abused her at her request. And the problem here is that there are rich and powerful people. We all know this. There are 1,200 victims. They're rich and powerful people who either engaged in this abuse, covered it up, or were on this island. And what the American people want to know is, who are these people? And instead of holding them accountable, Pam Bondi is breaking the law. And this is the corrupt system, the Epstein class that people are sick of. So I believe we're going to get bipartisan support in holding her accountable, and a committee of Congress should determine whether these redactions are justified or not.
Sometime in January, when you all come back, I assume that that'll happen. I want to ask you, though, Congressman Khanna, there have been images released in the past 48 hours. Some of them include former President Bill Clinton. There's at least one image of Donald Trump. I should say neither man has been accused of any wrongdoing related to Epstein, though they clearly knew him. But since Friday's publication, we're showing the image here now. One of the pictures was pulled down. There were 15 images total that were then redacted from the DOJ website. And it's kind of hard to see, but it's an open drawer with a photo of President Trump. Why do you think that was pulled down? Because the Deputy Attorney General says this was victims saying that their privacy or somehow their integrity was being compromised by having that image published.
Well, I'm less concerned about that photo. I don't know the facts. My concern is the major documents that we know are out there that haven't been released.
He's right that the photo is kind of a red herring. It's not indicative or anything of anybody. It's just a photo of a drawer of Trump with some women, right? Like, yeah, he's right. It's not anything crazy. But, like, in my opinion, it's not the photo that's crazy. It's the fact that you got rid of it. That's the thing to me. Is like all of this stuff, it's like being like, you know, something that like somebody looks guilty. Okay, that's fine. But why are you acting guilty? That's more interesting to me. Why are Americans so low IQ with this? The rich and powerful people do not matter. This is the way bigger than those people, and the implications are insane. Well, it's because people are tired of it. And that's what I was saying before, is that people are tired of this worldwide. They're tired of a global boomer hegemony that puts the needs of young people last, that tries to consolidate power and hold on to it as long as humanly possible, and then figures out every way to scam young people, make their lives worse, and just in general, fuck over everybody for no reason. That's that's what it is. Identity politics, yes. And so this is a worldwide. It's not like in America, it's everywhere.
The 60-count indictment that shows massive financial fraud and foreign interference, the prosecution memo. And look, they put out these Bill Clinton pictures. Well, they're allegations that they're foreign governments that potentially were involved.
Which ones?
And that all needs to come out. And it needs to come out in the indictments. It needs to come out in the prosecution memos. But the reality is they put out these pictures for Bill Clinton. Fine, put it all out. But don't distract from the fundamental issue, which is who are these powerful people who visited Rape Island? I mean, there are 1,200 victims. It defies common sense that it was just Epstein and Maxwell. And
exactly. It's completely irrational to think that it was just those two people. Like, the people, if you believe that, you're retarded.
Jermaine struggled for years with dental issues before finally finding Nuvia. Listen to what he wanted most after his smile makeover.
They're hiding something. And you know why the American people are so upset? My ex account had MAGA supporters supporting me for the first.
It's not the thing is that it's not MAGA. It's not Republican or Democrat. Like this is a big issue. Period. It's things like making sure that the country like has a military, figuring out how to make the roads work. Like this is a problem that media has created where every single fucking issue has to be divided by party lines, and people invent these alternate realities that every single problem has like a 50% ratio of people that like and don't like it. It's fucking ridiculous. There are a lot of issues that I think most people agree on, and just because the other side that you disagree with thinks it's good, that doesn't make it bad. It's just it's caveman thinking. I support the guy on this, unfortunately nothing else. That doesn't matter. Like it doesn't. You should get used to doing that. That's
it's okay to like certain things and dislike others, as long as like we manage to find a way to not shoot each other in the fucking throat at the end of the day. You can like some things some people did, even though you don't like the people themselves or the things that they do on any other day, but it doesn't change the fact that they do maybe one good thing or have some good ideas.
It's what normal people do. Work together in times that you can find common ground, and, you know, you can argue in times that you don't. Like, that's normal. You don't have to, not everything has to be all or nothing.
Time saying, you know, Pam Bondi whiffed, according to Susan Wiles. She is breaking the law. She needs to be held accountable.
Yeah.
You're referring to the Vanity Fair quote that the chief of staff gave, saying the whiffed, and she said that Pam Bondi gave them binders full of nothingness, and then when it came to the client list, she said it was on her desk. There is no client list, quote, and it sure as hell wasn't on her desk. Do you see that as an acknowledgement here, though, that the politics have overtaken the substance?
Something's wrong.
For sure.
Everybody can tell something's wrong. Different people have different guesses on what's wrong and why it's wrong, but everybody knows something is wrong.
No, for us, it's about the survivors. And if you look at Thomas Massie in my comments the morning of the release, we were giving Blanche the benefit of the doubt. We said, if it's not all there, fine, just get the information out.
Yeah.
It's when the survivors said that this is an insult, this is a slap in their face, that we aren't getting the truth about who these men were on Rape Island, that we started sounding the alarm. And this is more documents of nothingness. And I guess the question the American people have, even to me, is the system so corrupt? Is the system so corrupt that Thomas Massie and you defy the odds, pass a bill through a discharge petition, get the Senate, get the president to sign it, and still these rich and powerful people are being protected? Who has this kind of hold on our government? What are they hiding? Why are they not releasing this?
Exactly. It's just all common sense questions.
Well, you want what, people involved in those initial investigations down in Florida re-examined and possibly prosecuted?
Yeah. Yeah. Duh. Like, well, what do you mean? Like, yeah, of course. Like, did they do something wrong? Like, yeah.
I want the information out, which was in that prosecution memo that Acosta disregarded, that were in those indictments, that there were 60 counts against Epstein. Only 2 counts were prosecuted.
That's what he was talking about yesterday when he went on Hassan's stream. Listen to that again.
I want the information out, which was in that prosecution memo that Acosta disregarded, that were in those indictments, that there were 60 counts against Epstein. Only 2 counts were prosecuted. I want to know, who were these other people who were on the Epstein's Rape Island? Who were the people who saw young girls being paraded around at parties, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, and didn't say anything? And why is this so hard?
That's literally all anybody wants. Nobody wants to see pictures. Nobody wants anything else other than to have the people who are responsible for hurting children be brought to account. Be that the actual perpetrators, the people who procured the children, the people who transported them, the people who tended to Jeffrey Epstein's flower garden and didn't say anything, the pool guy, anybody who has any type of connection to any sort of heinous crime should be brought to justice.
And there's a law requiring these names to come out. What we're seeing is survivors' names come out, but not the men who abused them. And instead of holding elites accountable,
this is the thing that people said with the Maxwell trial, with Ghislaine Maxwell, that basically, how is it that this woman is being charged for human trafficking, but we don't figure out who she's trafficking to?
Pam Bondi is breaking the law.
Well, we will see when you gentlemen come back to work sometime in January what your next measures are. It sounds like you've made it clear you're moving action against the Attorney General. Thank you both for your reaction today.
I think it has to be faster. You have to do this as soon as you possibly can. Like, you can't let this sit around, because then they're going to try to stall it out. Then you're going to have the attention be taken over by midterm elections, and it's going to get displaced. I mean, really, Republicans should want to put this issue to bed before the before the midterms happen. Like, it's the best possible thing that Republicans could do for themselves is to completely kill this issue before the midterms. Totally get rid of it. Rokana post. Yeah, I'll see what he's saying in a minute. But yeah, this is nuts. And let me see if I can find a few more of these here too. But no, it's not that. There's something else. This is something else too. I've seen it before. Opening up impeachment. This is what I saw already. And yeah, here it is.
It's completely redacted. For the most part, the first 50 pages. This one's not readable. It's completely redacted.
That's a disgrace.
For the most.
What might happen if President Trump pardons Pam Bondi? I think that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I think that if he did that, he would be effectively destroying all of his political capital, and nobody would really support him after that. I don't think that they would. And I think that it would be hard for, anybody really to, like, he don't care. I don't think that, maybe you could say he doesn't care, but after that happens, like, eventually there will be somebody who takes office after Trump, right? And when that happens, that person will go after them as hard as possible. Like, this is what they should have done. They should have done this with Hunter Biden and Biden's, right? Like, they should have done this immediately. They should have done this with Hillary Clinton back in the day. Like, but they don't. The problem is that if you don't use your tools that you're given to execute in a way that, is definitive against your enemies, they will do that to you. And so you have to be first person to do that. Biden did it too. Yeah, well, Biden did a little bit, but they didn't do enough. Isn't JD a bit too quiet? No, I mean, if I was J.D. Vance, I'd be doing the exact same thing. I wouldn't be saying a fucking thing about this. You promised to prosecute rich and powerful men who are on Epstein's rape island. Would be more credible if you stopped breaking the law. Release the draft 60-count indictment, 82-page prosecution menu, and the Epstein FBI files. Yep, there we go. And the Department of Justice previously stated we will bring charges against anyone involved in the trafficking and exploitation of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. We reaffirm this commitment, and we ask any victim to please come forward with any information pertaining to any individuals who engage with illicit activity at their expense. We have met with many victims and victim groups, and we will continue to do so more if people reach out. Please contact myself. Yeah, we'll investigate it immediately. Yeah, no one believes you.
You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
I used to really like Kash Patel too, bro. Like, he came in and he acted all tough, but at the end of the day, he's either a coward, a liar, or fucking paid. Same with Bongino. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says, dude. He was a not a CIA agent. He was on Obama's, like, personal security detail with the Secret Service. Like, dude probably saw a lot of the shit that went down firsthand with, like, Epstein and Obama and Clintons and all that shit, and he didn't say anything either. So we can't trust nobody but ourselves. Like, the ball's in our court. In all honesty, the people of this country kind of just need to do it, bro.
In the files.
In the case file.
Okay. Now,
man, I wonder what's going to happen when they actually get the information out. Yeah, it's complete bullshit. Nobody's going to believe that.
Congress has left Washington for